Hello and welcome to the Flix Forum podcast, where each episode we go back and we usually look at a Netflix original film in the order of release. However, today we have a special bonus episode where we're going to talk about Netflix's 2025 slasher film called Fear Street, Prom Queen. It's directed by Matt Palmer and stars India Fowler, Suzanna Son, Fina Strazza, Klein, David Iacono, Rubin, Ariana Greenblatt, Lili and Katherine Waterston. I'm Jesse, I'm your host. Thank you for joining me today for this special episode. As always, if you haven't seen this film yet and you're keen on checking it out, give us a pause and come back a little bit later on because we will spoil the film as we go through this episode. So we start the show with the Fast Flicks, where we do a quick little summary of what the film is all about. So this one, it's about a high school prom battle almost for the Prom Queen. It turns deadly and nasty. Ooh, intriguing. Let's talk about how this one ended up on Netflix. What's some information about it? So the tagline for this film is, I should probably say, I've never seen so many taglines for a film in my life. If we look at these taglines, it's probably going to tell us a lot about the film. Again, pause if you don't want to know about it, but some of the taglines, this has so many. So we've got Drop Dead, Gorgeous. We've got Winning, Just Might Be the Death of You. Doors at 8, Slaughter at Midnight. If you're hungry for horror, come to Shady Side Senior Prom. If only they knew what awaited them, ... Most likely to fight for their lives. Most likely to run wild. Most likely to live up to their screams. Most likely to dress for death. Most likely to die trying. And the final one, A Night to Remember, Is You Survive. Wow, rubbish. All rubbish. Anyway, that's probably giving away a little bit too much about this film so far, but let's get into it. The film, it's based on the novel The Prom Queen from 1992, which is from R.L. Stine's Fear Street book series. This film, it's produced by Chernin Entertainment, and it's the fourth installment of this Fear Street film series for Netflix. We go to July of 2021, where R.L. Stine, the author of the book, stated that there are discussions for additional films being developed beyond the initial Fear Street trilogy, which came out in 2021. In December of 2022, it was reported that Chloe Okuno would direct an upcoming Fear Street installment, and Chernin Entertainment would return to produce. We then fast forward to October of 2023, where R.L. Stine said the film series would continue with additional Fear Street installments in development. This was confirmed by Scott Stuber when he revealed that the next installment would be a standalone film from the Fear Street book series. We go to January of 2024, where R.L. Stine confirmed that the project was in the works and that it was adapting the Prom Queen specifically from the series. In March, the film was titled Fear Street, Prom Queen, and the screenplay was announced to be adapted by Donald McCleary and Matt Palmer, who would also direct. With the title announcement, the initial cast was revealed, with principal photography beginning in Toronto on March the 25th, 2024, and continued into Hamilton in Canada as well, before wrapping on May the 14th, 2024. During an interactive event that ran between May 17th and 19th of 2025, just before the film came out, Netflix created a terrifying prom experience for visitors to the Fonda Theatre in Los Angeles. On May the 18th, Palmer, the director, and the cast attended the Shady Side High School Prom 88 experience as guests explored versions of the gym, lockers, girls' bathroom, and more locations from the film, designed to obviously engage and frighten fans. The idea of doing period horror and a slasher movie at prom just immediately felt like one big massive yes, director Matt Palmer said. There are loads of cool stories in the Fear Street world, but that one just really jumped out at me, he said. I personally haven't read the book, but I believe the ending of the book was changed. Again, spoiler alarm, boom, boom, boom. But the ending was changed in that the parents were the only killers in the book. And in the film, they add this character, Tiffany, to make it more of a family affair. In an interview with Decider.com, Tiffany, the actress who plays Tiffany, Fina Strazza, said that the reveal of Tiffany as a third killer was added during her audition. The original version of the script that we got didn't have Tiffany in on it. It was just Katherine Waterston and Klein, the parents, Strazza said. But in my final callback for the film, I did a scene that is a different version of the final scene with Laurie and Tiffany. Matt Palmer, the director, said if I could do the scene again, but instead revealed that I was also one of the killers. So pretty cool little thing there, I guess, to know that you're in a film and that your character, I guess the motive throughout the film changes a little bit too. As I said before, this was filmed in Toronto and other areas of Canada and was released on Netflix on the 23rd of May 2025. What are the critics and audiences saying about this film? We look at Rotten Tomatoes, it sits at 31%. That's on 39 reviews, very rotten. Obviously, very early days yet, but I can't see it jumping too much higher. The audience, exactly the same, 31% too. That's on more than 250 ratings. On IMDb, it sits at a 5.2 out of 10 on nearly 5,500 ratings, so fairly low there too, but not as low as Letterboxd. On Letterboxd, it sits at a 1.9 out of 5 on over 79,000 ratings and has been logged by 85,000 people. That's just in 3 days of release. That's not a good sign. On Metacritic, it's also on that low end of that traffic light system of red, yellow, or green. Sits in yellow for the critics, 44 out of 100 on 13 critic reviews, and the audience, it sits at a 4.9 out of 10 on 18 reviews, also yellow. So you would have to say not very good reviews on this film, or not much positive interaction so far. What are my thoughts on this film? I think we see this opening montage. It's very over the top of all the mean girls in the school. And it pretty much tells you all you need to know about this film. None of the characters have any development. And it's just a film with kills. And I guess how much enjoyment you get out of it will depend on whether you like or see the twist coming, which isn't very good anyway. So not too positive from me either, unfortunately. The characters in this film. So Laurie is our main protagonist. We hear voiceovers from her. This story is through her point of view, her family story of living in Shadyside or Sunnyside or Sunnyville, whatever it's called, where there's always murder, always crimes, and she is an easy target at school. She's constantly bullied because everyone in town thinks her mum killed her dad on their prom night, and she's trying to escape from her family's past, and I think thinks that becoming prom queen might help with this. I'm not sure how or why, but she works at the local diner to make ends meet, supports mum, cops a lot of crap from the bullies who go visit the diner there while she works as well. She has ambitions of being a writer in the future, but I guess the whole idea of her changing by winning prom, it's a pretty stupid idea to be real. Laurie's best friend, her name's Megan. She's their best mate. She loves to smoke some weed, pulls as many gory practical jokes as she can on her classmates and teachers. She has these feelings for Laurie that we see. They say they love each other a few times as well, but it's not really played on at all. It's just like this character trait. I'm not sure. Maybe it could have been done a little bit nicer. We talk about the mean girls. Tiffany's the arch villain. She's the biggest of the mean girls. Her mum didn't win prom and lost to Laurie's mum, so she's got it written all over her DNA that she must win and she must take down Laurie and her family as well. And her parents, Nancy and Dan, they're very over the top and ridiculous. And I mean, I've already spoiled it anyway, but they're the main villains of this film alongside Tiffany too. The school side of things, the vice principal, Dolores Breckenridge, almost like the sidekick to the male principal, that she seemed to be more of the comic relief, but nothing landed because his jokes didn't land either. So a little bit of an awkward thing between the principal and vice principal of the school. Tyler is Tiffany's boyfriend who has his eyes set on Laurie, which doesn't fit well, obviously, with Queen Bee, Tiffany, and gives her another reason not to like Laurie. Melissa's one of those mean girls who looked like she was actually changing along the way, but gets killed anyway, so that was a little bit sad. And the other mean girls, we had like Christy, Debbie, Linda, Claire. They're all literally just collateral damage. That's all they are. The director, Matt Palmer, first directing role since 2018, which was a Netflix original film that we covered many years ago. It was called Caliber. I really enjoyed that film. Very different. It was a very tense thriller, that film. This is a slasher, gory horror sort of film, but obviously knows how to use a camera. Only has 6 directing credits. Would much prefer him heading back into not necessarily franchise work, but an original story like Caliber. Have a listen to our episode on that film if you're interested in checking it out. Let's talk about some scenes. What are some scenes that stood out? What are some ones that didn't work? I think the ones that worked, there's this character, Bobby. He's one of the boyfriends of one of the mean girls. He gets killed. He gets both his hands cut off by the killers. They're dressed in these red, almost Squid Game style outfits, but they cut both his hands off, and then he crawls away towards the door. He's bleeding, and he tries to turn the door handle with these stumps that he has instead of hands now. A little bit humorous, I think. There's a fake head in the punch bowl. It was a prank from Megan. That was good. Got a bit of laughter there. The principal at the end gets his arm cut off. He's up on stage giving Laurie the prom queen crown, gets his arm chopped off by the killers, and then later on, they go back to him. He's like, oh, the kids are like, he's still alive. And then they put his arm back next to him. That was funny. And then the other one, Tiffany, at the end, she got pushed off the balcony by a lorry pretty much inside the house, and she sort of gets impaled. That was quite humorous too. Things that didn't work. That vice principal I talked about before, she talks to Laurie about knowing her mum and that Laurie has a bright future and this is her chance. It was just so lame. Laughable. Tiffany, there's a moment where she's going for a run in this horrendous tracksuit and then just sees Laurie in the middle of the street and then just stops to be horrible to her. That was lame. There's this montage, all these little bits in this montage, and one of the moments of the montage was Laurie's mum was just kneeling next to the bed praying for no reason at all. It was like they wanted to add some Carrie kind of vibes to it, and they do reference so many different horror films in this movie, but it was just like, oh, come on, not needed. The girls, they're getting ready for the prom, and Tiffany's in her bedroom window looking out straight across the road to Laurie on the other side, looking out her window too. It's just awkward. Finally, there's this dance-off between Tiffany and Laurie at the prom in the middle of the dance floor to that song, Gloria. It was just silly. It was so silly. Almost as silly as, I didn't put in there, but the mean girls at the start of the prom all end up in these American flag swimsuit dance routine as well. Just silly. Anyway, what's this film trying to say? I wouldn't say any of these themes are done very well, but the idea of mean girls and bullying and that reputation of a family name and how much it can carry and how, you know, some people, you need to be nice to people. I think change, we talk about change, and I mean, they try to push the idea that Laurie changes in this film, but when it's time to change, how hard it can be to do at times as well. And that ties into with the future. The future matters. You've got to get over tragedy and trauma and redeem a family name or claim ownership almost of your family and your name as well. What did I take away from this one? It feels like this film has come a bit late to the 1980s homages almost. Like, we've been there and done that with so many things in popular culture almost the last 10 years. I mean, you think about... what's the Stranger Things? You think about Stranger Things, that did it well, but I guess in saying that, it is worth watching this one for the soundtrack, which is probably going to have you singing and dancing along a lot, because I'm sure a lot of the budget for this film went for the rights to the soundtrack. Some questions, some pondering, some thoughts, some ideas from me. In Australia, this has an R18 plus rating. I was very surprised. Yes, it's pretty graphic and there's some violent kills, but I'm not quite sure it's an R18 rating. Obviously, Netflix self-regulate themselves and give their own ratings in Australia, so that's a bit interesting. There's this creepy maintenance guy that they use in the back of this film from the school. He's almost there as like a red herring that it's, he might be one of the people or he might be the murderer. It was just weird. The kids were in the movies at one stage and he was just sitting there in the back. I thought that was a little bit weird. There's this LaFay chick. She's this girl. She's a student at the school. We see her right at the start. She's videoing and documenting the school year. I mean, like, why? It means, I guess, they could have cool transitions between her camera work and the actual film, but realistically, didn't need her there. The vote, they start the prom. They're like, cool, we're going to have the vote for prom king and queen, and it's going to start at 11 p.m. Wow, what sort of supervision are the teachers at this school offering? Like, for me, that event should be well and truly over and done by 11 p.m. Not getting to midnight. Goodness gracious me. Nancy, when she dies, this is at the end of the film, and this is a post-credit scene as well. So hang around after the start of the credits to see this. But when Nancy dies, there's blood that flows from her head, and it begins to form this familiar symbol. It's like in the shape of a round image with lines running through the middle, and this symbol, it's known as the witch's mark or the devil's mark. And this was in the Fear Street world, was first used by Solomon Good in 1666, which is obviously associated with the family, the Good family in the previous film, and it's part of the ritual that family used to kill everyone and their victims as well. So it's a little bit of an Easter egg. But the director, Palmer, he said that the Easter egg was originally more of an element in the film. He said it's left over from another idea that was bigger in the original script, which was that the killers actually had been engaging in a satanic practice to try and do the work that they do. Palmer said that they'd maybe been trying to go a satanic route to do it, and having not managed to fully make that happen, went old school and did it in whatever weapon was available. Then there was a conception for there being a second movie to this one, a sequel, that was set in 1990, and that would become a satanic panic movie. He said, we did look at potentially weaving characters from the first movie and having a post-credit sequence too, but we wanted to keep this movie short and sharp. So obviously, possibility that this flows on and then eventually connects to the first three films. But realistically, apart from that post-credit scene, this movie does not connect, apart from location, to the original 3 trilogy from Netflix in 2021. All right, I'm ready to wrap this one up. I've spoken enough about this, more than I should have possibly said. We give the film a rating out of 5. For me, this is a big disappointment compared to the previous Fear Street films on Netflix. The stereotypes and rip-offs of so many other films, it's barely worth your time. I'd say go back and watch the first trilogy. Watch those first 3 films. They were fun. They were good. They connected well. Really enjoyed those ones. So go watch them. I'm giving this a 2 out of 5. Probably could have even been a little bit lower. We are on socials. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. And we're on X, formerly known as Twitter. The question that I wanted to put out to socials for this film was, how can you open a door without hands? That is the one scene in this film that stood out and will stay in my mind. How can you open it? Like, I don't know, do you use your feet? How do you, I don't know. Just the fact that he was trying to do it and then he gets killed straight after. How can you open a door without hands? What's a good way of doing it? Let us know. Other than that, we have a regular episode which comes out on a Monday and a huge back catalogue of over 400 episodes covering Netflix original films. Give us a follow, give us a like, give us a search. If there is a Netflix film that you've seen, we've probably done an episode on it, so see if you can find it. Other than that, thanks for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you on Monday.